Okay, so if you're over the age of 18, chances are you have at least one credit card somewhere in your wallet. Now, using a credit card is one of the most common cases of a line of credit that you'll see. Now, in this video, I would like to introduce you to the concept of a line of credit, or LOC, and differentiate it between a more common source of debt like a simple loan. Now, the main factor that you have to consider here, the main difference, is the concept of revolving debt. Now, you can think of a line of credit as a big pile of money that you have access to, that you can go up to and borrow as much as you need. And with that money, you only pay interest on the amount that you borrowed, not the amount that you had access to, like in a simple loan. When you're done with the money, you can place it back in the pile, you can return to the pile, and then in the future, you can go back to the pile and borrow that same money once again. So that's the concept of revolving debt. Now, a factor that influences how big the pile of money that you have access to is whether the transaction is secured or unsecured. So, in the perspective of a lender, the more that I lend, the more I stand to lose. So my risk goes up. Now, if I am a borrower and I want access to more money, I have to make it worthwhile for the lender to give me more money, right? So I can tell them, hey, listen, I want to borrow more money, but in return, I have these stocks here, this asset, and I'm going to pledge it as collateral, meaning that if I default on this loan and I can't pay it back, you can take possession of those assets so that you are still whole and you don't lose anything from the transaction because I'm giving you these stocks instead. So it's a win-win, more money for me and less risky for the lender. So that's the concept of a secured transaction versus an unsecured transaction that's just based on my credit worthiness, such as a personal loan like a credit card, right? So it's just based on my credit worthiness. I'm not putting up anything as collateral, and I can use the funds for whatever I want in my personal life. Another example is a business loan, but it would be in the context of business operations. And then an example of a secured transaction would be the home equity line of credit, which is essentially putting up the money that I have paid in my mortgage or in my home as the collateral. And that's a separate topic on its own to cover. And if we can get one comment on this video, I will make a separate video on the home equity line of credit, or the HELOC, and explaining that one in details. A securities-backed line of credit, same idea as the HELOC, but this time it's securities such as stocks or bonds that I'm putting up as my collateral. And the last one, very uncommon, but a demand line of credit, which is just the same thing as, let's say, a personal line of credit, but the amount that is lent out can be recalled to the lender at any time, at the lender's discretion. So that's all I want to cover in this video. But again, I'll make another video on the home equity line of credit if we can get one comment. That's all.